For those of you who I haven't met, my name's Ken Wiseman. For many years I was the CEO. I retired last year and semi-retired altogether. So half my title is AARP now and half of my title is Chief Workforce Development Officer. So, I started my career in teaching and I'm sort of ending my career in teaching, which makes me really happy to be here and get to work with all of our employees so much. We promised you at the time of our June 11th March for Peace and Diversity and Inclusivity, we promised that that was the start of our company taking a much stronger stance on diversity and inclusivity. Now, so there's no confusion, let's see, diversity. I love this analogy that I heard. Diversity is like getting invited to the prom. Inclusivity is like being asked to dance. So you can have a really diverse environment like we do, all ages, races. We have just my age, in my 60s, I think we have 25 folks around my age. But we also have a lot of people who are starting their first jobs with us. We have individuals who have been incarcerated who are giving chance to. We have individuals who have come from a homeless population or population of folks who have various types of disabilities. So we have already developed quite a diversity in our team. So that means our focus needs to be on the inclusivity. There's the spot that we can do better. When the March dust settled, and I'm going to sort of talk about this post-March as us climbing a mountain, because it's sort of like climbing a mountain. Anybody ever go for a hike up a trail and you think you see the top of the mountain, and then you get there and it's like, whoa, there's the top. I just got to here. That's the way it is when you attack as a company the challenges of inclusivity. It doesn't happen overnight, but if you're going to get there, you're going to keep walking up that trail, and you're going to take breaks once in a while, you're going to look back down, you're going to celebrate your successes, you're going to develop a plan on how you're going to continue to get there. So the first thing we realized after our march on June 11th is that if we're going to make our diversity and inclusivity breakfast more representative and more inclusive of folks, we can't have it before work. A lot of people have childcare challenges in the morning. Maybe they're coming off a second shift or third shift and this is a second job. Maybe they commute with 4 others who aren't going to attend the meeting. So one of the first steps we did is to make it easier for those who wanted to attend, as we started it as a paid breakfast meeting at the start of the workday. And boom, our attendance maxed out for the COVID-19 max that we have to have for our learning center. We get 16 to 20 people at the breakfast. Right along the same lines of understanding that if we're going to be an inclusive company, we have to make sure that we're equally sharing the opportunities for our learning experiences. We also have shifted most of our training classes to the workday, during the workday, when employees can be paid to receive our I Want to Be a Leader, our advanced leadership. And we've found that was really helpful, because what we heard from a number of our employees is that, certain people were getting more opportunities in our company than others, and everybody wanted to have the same chances. So we knew that started with education. We also learned pretty quickly that we had to focus on the courses that we were offering. We used to call it I Want to Be a Boss. Now we call it I Want to Be a Leader. We really believe that there's much more to being a leader than a boss. A boss can say, hey, don't ask me questions, just do what I say. A leader is going to be respectful. A leader is going to care about you and share empathy. A leader is going to make you part of the collective goal that you're trying to achieve. And so we started focusing on the curriculum and what it is that we taught in our courses. We realized that in an environment like ours, what's important is that everybody is empowered to share what they see going on. If they see favoritism, if they see that they're not getting opportunities. What we don't want in our company is people being passive. There is no voice to passive. If you see something and don't say something, then did it really even happen, right? Well, it happened if you're holding in pain and didn't share it. So there's no place for passive, and there's also no place for aggressive. Everybody shuts down when there's aggressive. What there is room for is respect and sharing your voice and sharing your thoughts, whether you're a leader sharing it to your employees or an employee sharing it to your leaders. For the first time in my career, we actually practice in our leadership classes how to approach your manager when they're doing something that makes you feel uncomfortable. So I'm going to approach Dan. Okay, Dan's office is moving towards me right now as we speak. So knock, knock.
Yes, yes.
Hey, Dan, do you have a minute for me?
Absolutely, come on in.
Oh, thank you. Is this a good time?
Sure,
Okay.
perfect
Can
time.
I sit down? Absolutely. All right. Hey, Dan, you know, today I know I made a mistake out there on the shipping line. And it really hurt me that you yelled at me like you did. You know, I think everybody in the warehouse heard you yelling at me. I really wish you would give me the respect of not, you know, if you want to talk to me, I made a mistake, let's go in the office. But please.
Yeah, you know what, Ken? I apologize for that. I let my emotions get the best of me. It was out of line, and I appreciate you coming to talk to me. It's going to make me better, and I do apologize again. Let's just set it straight, and we'll work forward.
Thank you, Dan. I thought you'd feel that way, and I appreciate it.
Thanks so much for your honesty.
Okay. Those are the kind of dialogues that we want in our company. And to that end, I think we have one more, but we've had 3 90-minute meetings with our leadership team, supervisors and above, to talk about exactly what we just did with Dan here, about the fact that we're empowering all of our employees to look for what's right in our company, and when it's not right, to speak up. And that you will be respected, as long as there's not aggression. And you won't be hurt if you're passive. We've also learned that, you know, a lot of times, particularly if you are not used to being in conflict, a lot of times we go into a conversation expecting it to go one way. Oh, I'm sure everybody will appreciate what I have to say. And then you go into it and it doesn't quite go the way you expected. And that's because you didn't think about the different ways it might come out. And so we did something, you know, in last training called identifying your triggers and making a plan for how you're going to respond when someone pulls that trigger on you. So one trigger might be, do you like me pointing at you like this? Is that a trigger? Who here, one trigger is they don't like people pointing in their face, right? Right? There's a trigger. What's another trigger? Yelling, right? Being yelled at can be a trigger, right? Being the only one in a group that's not offered overtime could be a trigger. What's that? Being ignored can be a trigger. All right, so when you think about what your triggers are, in an environment like ours where you're going to try to work towards us eliminating these triggers, then you think about what your reaction is going to be the next time it happens. The next time I do this, you're going to break my finger? Hopefully not. Hopefully not. That would be on the aggression side, right? No. We have these honest discussions. I think we were already climbing this mountain, but we have a long way to go. So the next trail that we're heading up, and by the way, we're not doing this just a few of us. Yes, the diversity inclusivity team is meeting and talking. But we need all of us to go up that mountain together. We don't want to just get up there, a few of us. Everybody's got to pass that finish line together. It came up that it's difficult sometimes to apply for promotion opportunities because people are too nervous about what that job involves, and they don't want to get themselves in a position where they can't do it and they fail. So we have a new program called the Upskill Matrix that we're starting to launch at HQ. We got to do it with a small group first, work the bugs out, and then we're going to launch it to all the buildings. The first two positions we're focused on is inventory clerk and receiving clerk. So the way it works is this. You really think you might like to be a receiving clerk, and right now you're working as a warehouse 2 position or 3 position, and you go to Justin and you go, Justin, can I sign up for the inventory receiving clerk matrix, skill matrix program? And you sure, sign up for it. So it's this big chart, and you put your name on up there, and there'll be 10 different skills. 10 could be a little more, could be a little less, but 10 or so skills that if you accomplish those, then you can be fairly assured that you're ready for that job. Well, how are you going to accomplish that? Well, you're not going to have to disappear and go up. You know, we have plenty of classroom type activities, but this is more of a mentoring activity. So if it's blank, it means you haven't started that task. If it's yellow, I think, probably get my colors wrong here, Lisa, but yellow means you've got the skill, but you're probably not ready to do it on your own. And then there's green that says you're ready to do this on your own. And then there's another color that represents you're ready to teach it, that you could actually be one of the mentors. So over time, we would establish that there's lots of folks who are qualified to teach that skill. And through this, through an allocation of some time, like Justin, is today a good day for me to take 10 minutes? We're all caught up on orders. I want to get this one. I want to try to knock this skill off today. I think I can I've been working on it. Sure, just don't ask on Mondays, right? Mondays are a tough day to ask. But, you know, your managers will try to work with you to allow you the time to gain those skills. And you'll be able to look at it, and your manager will be able to look at it. We need our leadership to be in tune with what your goals are and what you want to achieve here. We're hoping this program can be helpful in that regard. One of the things that the diversity inclusivity group said is we need this message to get out to the leadership, and that's where we started these 90-minute programs, because what we were talking about had to be throughout. So that's gone really well. Like I said, we only have, I think, one more of those. The other thing our employees said at that breakfast meeting is, you need to share this message with everyone. That's what we're doing here today. We're making sure you know that there has been progress, but we also want you to know that we don't think we're there. We're on a nice clearing right now, well up into the mountain. There's some fog up there as we try to determine some of our next steps. We know that one of our next steps is going to be that a number of our folks in the Diversity Inclusivity Breakfast want to share some of their stories. Stories of prejudice that they've lived through. Stories of their upbringing that may be very different from my upbringing. So I can better understand, and the rest of our group can better understand where they've been and where we are and how we can make things come together. In the area of inclusivity, which is also an area that we see favoritism as one of the areas that seems to exclude people and make some people get more benefits than others. Favoritism is something we really want to work on. Oh, Paycom, thank you. Now you threw me. Thank you though, Lisa. Oh, okay. So we want those stories to help, teach us all. So Lisa and Carmen have a number of the folks that are going to be sharing those at our Diversity Inclusivity Breakfast. Some of those we hope to be able to share out to you, so you can see them too. I actually think we're going to have a diversity and inclusivity wall up in the Learning Center, where we share thoughts and histories and backgrounds and progress and pictures from our march and maybe even some of the signs from our march to remind us this thing can't go away. You know, if you look back, there's been these times where everybody's trying to focus on diversity and inclusivity, and then it just seems like it calms down. But the problems don't seem to go away. So we need to keep working on this. So I'm going to finish up today, and I'm going to tell you one of the biases that I had to deal with in my life. And I'm going to say to you that many of the things that we do as leaders, we don't mean to hurt. We don't mean to exclude. And that's why some folks refer to it as unconscious biases. When we do something that excludes somebody from an opportunity that they deserved, simply because we didn't understand, we were ignorant. My ignorance on the story I'm going to tell you almost prevented me from experiencing a miracle. So here I was, some of you have heard this. If you've been in my class, I might make you might come up and tell my story, huh? I'll tell it. This is a story about when I was getting my degree in education. Got that degree. I started a master's degree towards special education. My mom was a special ed teacher. I grew up in that environment where I worked with a lot of people who had disabilities, whether they be physical or cognitive. And I was in college. I graduated college as I was running the food service at Southern Connecticut State University. And I had a program there with an agency who was bringing in 20 or 30 individuals with various disabilities each day, and they were working with us and working with my team. And it was wonderful. We felt we were really working and helping others and all. And I remember the head of the agency said to me, "I have somebody who'd like to apply for your pot washer position." I said, great. Yeah, bring him on over. He goes, I just got to tell you, though, he's blind. Is that going to be a problem? And I said, yeah, I don't think somebody that's blind could wash pots. No, I don't think it's going to work. Right? Thank God he pushed. He goes, Ken, I think you should give him a chance. All right, I'll give him a chance. The quick part of the story is he was the best pot washer I ever had, ever. And I almost denied him that opportunity. But there's a better story than the fact that the pots and pans never had been cleaner. And the story went like this. Because he was blind, he needed everything to be very organized. I mean, I have a very close friend that's blind, and if you want to screw with him, move his toothbrush 10 inches away, and he's not going to find it so easy because he's very organized, right? So this pot washer approached the cooks and said to them, how do you like the pots and pans arranged on the shelves? Because that's the way I'll do it all the time. The cooks were like, wow, nobody's ever asked us that. Yeah, that would be cool. Why don't you put the 2-inch pans here, the 4-inch pans here, 6-inch, put the pots over here, and we gave them all these instructions, and boom, our shelves never looked so organized. The cooks were like amazed. This guy's incredible. But you know what else happened? They went to him and they said, hey, when we bring the dirty pots in, how do you like us to put them down? Oh, thank you for asking. Yeah, it would help if you put the bigger pots over here. And pretty soon, it wasn't just about the pots being cleaner. It was about a team of people that were working together. Things had never gone better in that department. And in an area where there used to be a lot of, bumping heads, suddenly there was just a lot of people that were really glad to be there. We all win when we allow for diversity and inclusivity. And imagine if I had just stuck with no and not gotten to witness that miracle. I hope all of you get to witness miracles. And we will go on this journey together, and we may never hit the top of the mountain. You know why? Because it's hard to be perfect. But we're going to continue climbing, and we're going to get fogged out sometimes, and we're going to wait out the fog, and we're going to keep going. So thank you, everyone, for your time. I know it's hot. I know you're busy. I know you got lots of orders to get out. But I appreciate your time. Appreciate that we're all in this together.